Today on What It's Like 1930, REO Flying Cloud. This was the first car to use Lockheed brakes. But before getting into all of it, I'm Jay. Welcome to What It's Like, the automotive channel that gives you all of the background information on the classics, vintage, some exotics. This channel is home for the orphan cars and cars that are being forgotten, lost to time. If that sounds like a channel that you'll totally dig, subscribe and hit the bell icon next to it to never miss a video. This 1930 REO Flying Cloud is currently for sale at Classic Auto Mall, located Morgantown, Pennsylvania, largest automotive consignor in the northeastern region of the US of A, with over 850 cars for sale when recording this episode. There is something for everyone there. For more information, pricing, and pictures pertaining to this very car, click the link below after the show. REO, founded in 1905 when Ransom E. Olds, the same guy that founded Oldsmobile in August of 1897. Ransom left Oldsmobile in 1905 and established REO, which was made up of his initials, Ransom E. Olds. They made cars and trucks. Car production ran from 1905 to 1936. Truck production lasted until 1975. It's worth mentioning that in 1967, the company merged with White Motor Company, which was a subsidiary of REO, and then merged with Diamond T Trucks to form Diamond REO. And then they went bankrupt in 1975. Volvo would take over White, and they actually own White and the rights to REO. REO was known for two standout cars, the Flying Cloud and the Royal. The Royal came later in 1931. It's also worth mentioning that they had a companion/junior make called the Wolverine, which was offered from 1927 to 1928. 1930 REO model lineup. There's a bit of conflicting information. This car is labeled a 1931 car on their website, but I'm pretty sure it's a 1930. Anyway, so they had the Model 15, the Model 20, and the Model 25. They also offered commercial cars as well, such as pickup trucks and delivery vehicles. 1930 REO Flying Cloud was marketed in the mid-price field. It was higher than a Ford or a Chevy, but it was lower than a Packard or a Cadillac. REO offered the Flying Cloud from 1927 to 1936. 1930 Flying Cloud could be had as a two-door coupe, two-door sports coupe, and the four-door sedan. It's also important to note 1930 Flying Cloud was available in three wheelbases. The Model 15 rides a 115-inch wheelbase, Model 20 rides a 120-inch wheelbase, and Model 25 rides a 125-inch wheelbase. The Model 15 is considered junior series and was powered by a 6-cylinder Continental engine. The Model 20 and 25 are considered senior series and came with an inline 8-cylinder built by REO. Let's talk specs. It rides a wheelbase of 115 inches. It weighs 3,280 pounds. Price, $1,195, which is equivalent to you spending $21,598.44 in the year 2023. It's almost half the price of the Packard that we did yesterday. Total 1930 REO production was 11,449 units. Moving on to engines. Only one engine on offer for the Model 15. That was a 214.7 cubic inch displacement, inline 6, flathead, Continental 16E. 3.5 liters. It's good for 60 horsepower, 3,800 RPM, bore of 3.37 inches and a stroke of 4 inches, compression 5.3 to 1, features 7 main bearings. Let's talk styling. So I saw this from afar and I thought it was a Packard. It looks very Packard-like from the sides. Just look at how these fenders are designed. There's a bit of a roll here. It's got wooden spoke wheels. Look at how this hub is designed. It's got the conventional springs down here, the leaf springs. And just look at how all of that is designed. Massive headlights. Nice bar here that the headlights mount to. Check out the moto meter. That tells you coolant temperature. I love these cowl lights, accessory lights. This one's got 2 cowl vents, his and hers. Look at how this is designed. It has a slight exterior visor. Just look at how all this is designed. It doesn't have a steel top, it has like a rubber top. It's got drip rails that go the whole length of the car. Look at how wide these running boards are. Here's my foot for reference. I wear size 12 shoe. Even back here, it does taper back into the body a little bit. But notice how wide the rear fenders are in reference to how wide the front fenders are. I love this stop light. When you hit the stop, when you hit the brake, it says stop. That's really cool. There's only one brake light. This is the spare tire case. There isn't a spare tire in that one. Gas filler cap, gas tank. Bumpers, notice they're half bumpers because of the spare tire situation. Coming up and getting inside, but before we do, check out how these handles are designed. They got this inlay raised. So here's what the door looks like. It's got like all this bronzish finish. Here's how thick the door frame is. Handle to get out, window crank for the big window, and it operates like this. Coming down inside the pedal box here, right off to the left hand side, that's the emergency brake and or handbrake. Clutch, brake, gas pedal. Looks like that's the starter pedal up there. The pedal to just rest your foot on. High beam switch is also there. Notice the steering shaft goes in between the clutch and the brake pedal. Better look at this interior. So getting inside, they don't make it easy. Right there, you just kind of have to, if you have big feet, it's kind of hard to get in. That's what the door sounds like shutting. It's a nice quality shut. Here's what over the hood looks like. Here's what first person over the hood looks like. Underneath the steering wheel, there's tons of space. It's not an issue in this car. This steering wheel position is kind of like bus driver position, but it's not bad. And the steering wheel turns around the hub and the hub stays stationary, which is cool. On to the button switches and knobs. The dashboard layout is right in the center of this car. That looks to be a starter, followed by the speedometer. Notice the needle stays stationary and the speedometer spins. Odometer and tripometer, oil pressure, coolant temperature, lights, key, choke, amp meter, gasoline gauge. Up above, there aren't any sun visors, but this is to control the windshield wiper, which would be mounted at the top. This is the crank for the crank out windshield, which I think is really weird that's mounted at the top. Rear view mirror. On to the glove box test. Here's our test subject. Here's my hand for reference. This one doesn't have a glove box. That there controls the cowl vent on the driver's side. See it going up? That's the final stop. That's the second stop. That's first stop. That's shut. There is another one over here, and that is for the passenger side. Has their own cowl vent. So how cool is that? Coming to the rear door, that's as far open as it goes. Notice there isn't an armrest on here because the armrest is on the chair itself. Door handle to get out, window crank for the big window. That's as far down as it goes. It goes almost all the way down, but not quite. Floor is made out of actual wood. So that's where floorboard comes from, I guess. So sitting in the back, I got tons of space. Like, that's how far the front seat is from my knee. It's about a 1.5 feet, maybe 2 feet of space there. This is what the front looks like from the back. Let's take a quick gander at the greenhouse, or the pillar to glass ratio. That is what visibility looks like out the rear window. Creature comforts. There is a dome light in the center. There are windows back here, but they don't go down. There is an armrest right there. Everything that's found on the driver's side is also found on the passenger side. There's an armrest. There's a window to look out of. There aren't any coat hooks. This dome light is controllable by this switch here. This is what I look like sitting in the rear seat. I got tons of headroom, lots of space in this car. Very, very comfortable car. The seat profile is rather upright, but like I said, you got so much space back here that it doesn't really matter. Getting under the hood, just come up to these. These have lots of tension, if you're wondering. And then you just pick it up. The hood is actually really light on this car. So there it is. Flathead 6. Starters right there. Look at the generator. It has a shaft that comes off the back of it. The horn, notice where it's placed. Take a look at the distributor right up on top, smack dab in the center of the engine. The steering box, I just love how everything is just so accessible. You could work on this thing. So when you're putting these back in here, notice this part here goes inside that groove, and then you pick up on it like that, and it's in there nice and tight. Coming to the other side, you do the same thing, you just take them off of there like that. And like I said, the hood isn't very heavy at all. Some of these can be really heavy, but this one's not that bad. So here's the other side. This is the exhaust side. Look at this air cleaner they got down in there. So this is an updraft carburetor. On the positive side, this car has the look of a car that costs twice as much. Dual cowl ventilation, lots of space in the rear, uses the Continental engine, so engine parts should be easy to get and still available. Against it, next to no information out there on this car. The Flying Cloud gets overshadowed by the Royal, which came in 1931. Continental engines, some would say, can feel a bit underpowered. There isn't a glove box in this car. A bit difficult to get in the front seat because of the kick panel situation. All right, now it's time for Would You Rather, steak or chicken, paper or plastic. 2 scenarios today. In the first scenario, 1930 Oldsmobile F30 or 1930 REO Flying Cloud or 1930 DeSoto CF. I am going to leave this here for a minute. If you need more time, feel free to pause the video. Moving to the second scenario, 1931 Auburn 8 or 1931 Rio Royale or 1931 Chrysler 8. Once again, going to leave this here for a minute. If you need more time, feel free to pause the video. On to Name That Tune. First person to get both the name of the band and song title correctly in the comment section will have their comment pinned to the top of the comment section. Thank you all so much for coming out and watching this. If you'd like to get in touch with me, shoot me a comment in the comment section below, or check out our Facebook group that correlates with this YouTube channel. If you don't have Facebook and would like to reach me, shoot me an email. All of that will be linked in the description below. Just know I appreciate all of the support. And until next time, here's some scenes for our next episode. 1947 Ford Super Deluxe Convertible. That's what's coming up next on What It's Like. Tune in Thursday at 4:30 Eastern Time to catch that episode. And until then, toodaloo!